one of our first episodes, you know what I'm saying, of the elevator room. And so I definitely want to take it to the top floor with this. You know, I see a lot of people with podcasts, and I think a lot of their energy and their input is needed. But we're living in times now where it's just a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to digest when it comes to information. And all information is not like great information. You know, some information is just that. You know what I'm saying? And some people just need to hear some simple, you know, mundane, you know, regular stuff. That ain't really what we cover over here. That ain't what we gonna be gearing our information up to. You know? I mean, it's gonna be a lot of information available for the people that really want to study and learn the craft as it goes, you know? I don't really know how to take it to the next level without actually documenting it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of deep conversations we have is to influence brothers to take more responsibility. But a lot of times that stuff is not really recorded. But yeah, okay. Hey, Nakia, I'm recording.
Alright, I gotta go.
No, I'm saying you can go back to what you was doing. I'm just recording now.
No, cause I'm gonna hold a light on you.
Well, I'm kind of good with it now because it's kind of Coochie.
I'll call you back. Alright.
I was kind of Gucci with it. I got used to it.
Yeah, but can we try it like that and then?
Well, I want to try it this way, and then I'll do another scene with that like that.
Like even if I hold it down over.
Well, that's too much light right now. I'm trying to get into the mode.
Okay. What if
You
I sit
understand
it
what I'm
here?
saying?
You said it's too much light in your eye. Like, is it a bad position,
That's
or
right.
you
Yeah,
just
because
don't want the light? You
Not
said
right now.
when I walked away, you said you're right. We need a small light.
Nah, I'm gonna get a bigger one. I'm just gonna get another one out here like that. And plus, I got that on. That's on too bright of a light.
Huh?
It's too bright. I wanted a certain tinge on it, a certain color on it. You know what I'm saying?
This is too bright. I can
That's it.
turn it down.
Well, I mean, let's try it this way. What I'm talking about right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can try it that way.
It's yours. It's yours. I just was trying to help.
I got you. And I greatly appreciate it.
That is real bright. Okay.
It's a different tinge.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's a
I know
tint-
you
the
mean
tint-
the tone to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
So I
this
do.
is like an unnatural light.
That's right.
That is a fire type color.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I get it. I was just, like I said, I was trying to help
Got you.
to see if it's like further away it made more sense or not.
Correct. I don't want it.
All right.
But
Okay. This has been recording.
I know I can edit all this out in post. That's what you call editing. I can cut it out. It ain't a problem. Kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, but talking about like how basically a lot of people do a lot of mundane stuff and like they record podcasts basically on whatever they deem as knowledge and information. And if that's, you know, your level with it, that's fine. But this ain't the podcast that I want you to listen to, because we're not gonna discuss the mundane and whether Cardi B is pregnant again. You know, not saying that that ain't relevant in somebody's universe. I'm just saying that that ain't relevant over here. I'm gonna bring on many guests. I started this first episode is just gonna be me basically laying down an introduction to how to press the buttons in the elevator room, how to navigate through the elevator room. And I call it an elevator room. I came with this concept well over 10 years ago. Back when I was in college or whatever. A lot of my friends, one of my friends from Charleston, T, he used to call me Elevation. And I said, why do you call me Elevation? He was like, because every time I talk to you, I get elevated. You know what I'm saying? I said, why not motivation? He's like, because it's not really about motivation. He said, because motivation actually disappears. A lot of people can motivate you. They can motivate you to do a lot of things. You know, people can wake up in the morning feeling bad, and they listen to some motivational words, and those motivational words carry them throughout their day. But the bad thing about The bad thing about motivation is when motivation is not kept, it turns into just words. A lot of people listen to things that are just words, feel-good words, feel-good quotes, inspirations. What happens when you lose the inspiration? That has to come within, and that's why I don't like. Well, I don't prescribe to the motivational speakers. What's up?
No, I'm just keeping you here.
No, I'm good. I like.
I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's relative, like it's relatable, you know, like.
Yeah.
But certain things, when you say them, it's like focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm bringing back my point. You'll see.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
You'll see what I'm saying once I bring it all back.
I know you've been doing this. I'm not being critical of it, because I know, you know, like, but I'm looking at it. That's all. I'm seeing what they're gonna see.
That's right, and I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna have to edit it a lot.
You don't want to start over?
I don't have to. I can cut all this out in post. I can cut it as an editing. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me see what I was gonna say. What I was saying. Oh, bet about the reason for the name elevation or whatever, and how I actually came with the elevator. Like, we all can get elevated. You know what I'm saying? We all can choose to be elevated at one point in time or another. We don't have to sit here and, you know, just focus on motivation, because motivation is definitely gonna come from within. You know, and if it doesn't, then you are just fooling yourself. You know, and like I said, I love some of those, that Eric Holder guy, or whatever. I think that's his name. What's the Eric guy? EB or whatever. The big motivational speaker.
I think it's Eric Holder.
Might be. All right, cool. And it's a couple of them. Steve Harvey said some inspirational things. He actually said some inspirational things when I was driving to work earlier. He said something about, if you want to be successful, you want to prepare to be uncomfortable. And I like that. You know what I'm saying? Because success is not comfortable. Do something hard. In the words of Dan Crenshaw, he got a chapter inside his book called "Do Something Hard." You're not challenging yourself. All right, cool. But do something more harder than what you're normally used to. You got to break outside of that box. And that's my aim. My goal is to elevate you. My goal is for you to say, okay, all right, I'm elevated. Why now I can motivate. That's my objective, to make people more elevated and make them understand what elevation really is, how the process actually looks, you know. And a lot of people just don't realize that. But then when you get with other people who are elevated as well, and y'all on the same page, that's an elevator room. That's what I want to talk. That's how I want to deal and how I want to move through. And so on this podcast, we only gonna talk about elevation. We're not gonna talk about, you know, how many mass shootings it was. This is another podcast for that. It ain't mine, but it's another podcast for it, and I respect that. Like Jay-Z say, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it don't exist in my world. It happens, but I don't choose to focus all of my energy on top of that. I want to shout out to one of the brothers out there doing some real positive moves right now, and that's the brother 19 Keys. I've been watching his podcast and his platform a whole lot, and I've been getting a whole lot of information from it. And that's kind of in direction and kind of enjoying somewhere I actually want to move with it. I don't wish to put shade on anyone, because I know for a lot of people to shine, they feel like they got a shade on someone else, and that's how I want to open up the first forum with this. Like, just for you to shine, you don't have to put shade on another individual. That's why they call it throwing shade, because you're really trying to stand in front of somebody else so they can live in your shadow. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to do that to be great. You can be great all on your lonesome. You can be great, you know, sitting in the cut. Sometimes the most richest person a lot of times inside of the room is the most quietest person, or the person that's the executive producer. You know what I'm saying? It's something you said, what's going on? Okay, all right. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes it's the most richest person, sometimes the most quietest person, the person that's playing the background. And that's a role. I mean, you shouldn't want to be in the spotlight all the time. But I definitely want people to take away that we have to, change is going to be met with resistance. Challenge yourself at every point. Always strive towards excellence. And know that it's going to be difficult. Know that the process, trust your process. Like I was talking to someone before, and they was telling me about how it's a process to do everything, and you don't know. Sometimes record and document the process. That'll help other people grow right and learn right along with you. It's okay to pause what you're doing and Google it and say, okay, yo, you know what? I don't know that. Let me Google that. Let me see if that is what I think I know. And if you're not challenging yourself a lot of times, then you're going to find yourself sitting there saying, oh, I thought I knew that. Well, I guess I was wrong. Well, if you don't know, pause for a second. That's what you got a team for. You know what I'm saying? Definitely take it to the level where, okay, let me at least challenge it to a Google search. So that's one of the things I definitely want to bring into the platform, into the forum. I don't know. It's a lot been going on. Positive stuff too. We ain't talking about just the stars going on. We talking about people just making great changes. We talking about people that's inside of the industry breaking through first time billionaires. You know, it's a lot of black first time billionaires. It's a lot of platforms that are actually giving light, you know, giving credence to these new ideas. You know, never in the world has so many people been rich off of just tech. It used to be gold. It used to be crude oil. Now you can make money off of things that are not tangible. This is a different time that we're living in. It's not the same. It's not the same. The richest companies in the world weren't even companies 20 years ago. That's deep. The richest companies right now in the world were not even companies 20 years ago. They didn't exist. So that shows you that the paradigm and the shift that we move into is a place where, I mean, it's going to be companies that run the world, maybe, that don't exist right now 10 years from now. I don't know. I mean, in our day and age and the way we look at things or whatever, we definitely have to focus on the up and coming. That's how you stay ahead of the curve. You know, the only way you stay ahead is to know what's going on, and that's why the news is so vital. You know, you can't look at the news as just a crutch or something to come over or something that disappoints. You have to look at the news as a way of, hey, this is my vehicle for information. I can take that in. I can get that out of this. You know, I can sit there and say, okay, boom, let me take this information and let it apply for me. You know, how can this information make me rich? Well, that's really how you need to look at all information. You know, but how can this information make me rich? That's how you need to look at the news instead of looking at it for educational purposes or for entertainment purposes. Look at it for educational purposes. And a brother broke down the science one time on the word news is north, east, west, south. I'm like, okay, it is your compass and it should be how you navigate. Because even if you're in the lower levels of the world, even if you're a drug dealer, it still wouldn't hurt you to pay attention. Even if you are, you know, a working woman and you a prostitute, it wouldn't hurt you to pay attention to the news. It's going to be something on there that's going to help you benefit. Whether it's just the weather, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's just, you know, who's doing roadblocks. You know, you can look at it from that level, or you can look at it from every time a company just doesn't split. You know, let's use Fortune 500 companies. They don't just fall to pieces. And if they do, like Enron, that's why the crisis with Enron was so important, because it failed dramatically. And that never happened. It happened when they discovered a lot of embellishments was going on with the books and stuff like that. But that never happened in history and hasn't since happened since then, because the SEC regulates that. They do a pretty good job. But for the most part, these major Fortune 500 companies, they're not tanking rapidly. And I'll tell you something else. Some free game right quick. The Dow Jones is always doing this. It's always going up. I mean, for the most part. You know? And the people that invest their money always increases in value over time. You can't look at the stocks as like the Forex, and a lot of people are trying to use it as a get-rich-quick scheme. You can't do that. It won't work in your favor. Now, unless you're day trading or something like that, and even that, you have to be very careful. A lot of scams going on with the day trading and the Forex, and people group buying. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. Just be wary of that. I can see that light again. You got any questions?
No.
No. Alright, cool. But yeah, like I said, like in the elevator room or whatever, we're gonna try to like at least keep it. I don't know. I'm gonna start out with like probably 30 to 45 minutes at first, and then I'll probably gradually go up to an hour. Depends on the conversation. If it's going good, then I'll take it there. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it there. We'll go to length.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing but recording process. It's nothing but stuff to be edited in the end. You know, like I said, the overall goal is for people to elevate and walk away with something different. I also want to talk about peace and happiness. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people that sit there and say, "Oh man, I'm blessed and highly favored." A lot of them not only are lying to themselves, they lying to the people around them because they don't trust the people around them to give them good advice when they say that they not blessed. So when they sit there saying, "Okay, cool, I'm blessed," who you trying to convince, me or yourself? That's what I learned. Like, and then they go back to that mind frame of I can't really open up to a lot of people because I gotta pretend that I'm blessed. Versus people who really blessed, they just be happy. They just be happy. And that's what you have to focus on. You have to focus on people who are really happy, really blessed, and really want to be a part of a happiness. Happiness is something you seek out. It's not something that's given to you. Anger and all these other emotions, the low level vibrations, those things are just sent out in waves all day. So it's happiness. But it's harder to stay in a place of peace and a place of happiness versus a place of anger. It's easier to get angry. It's easier to get upset. That's the easy route. That's really the easy route. It's easy to go fight someone. It's easy to be verbal. It's easy to be abusive. That's easy. It's hard for peace. What's up?
When you started, we were talking about people. You said you wanted to talk today about people who cast shade. And I guess this part is kind of like bringing it back full circle. Mm-hmm. Or are you touching on 3 different subjects? Because you started talking about the trading and scamming and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. With Forex and all that stuff. But you said today you wanted to talk about, you said that was the purpose of today, was the people trying to block other people's shine. Don't take. And so I guess the comment, well, I guess like this is a great, like the way, like it looks great, it sounds great, all that. The last comment, I know you'll probably end up editing because you said it was no negativity, no, you know, so I would, this is yours, like I said, I would like to go back to the initial format of talking about people who, well, talking about how it's possible to shine without trying to cast shade on other people.
I mean, yeah.
Or what that looks like. What does it look like to cast shade? What are some things that people do and maybe not realize they're casting shade, or you know, like
well, some people don't even think about the things that they're saying until after they come out their fucking mouth. That's what I realized. A lot of people say a lot of things like, I can't believe I just said that. Yeah, because you're not filtering. And they'll say, I don't got no filter. You actually don't. Is it that you're so used to having conversations where it doesn't require you to have a filter? I think that's a lot of time the problem. a lot of people say a lot of things they don't mean because they're not trying to filter it out through their mind before they don't have to feel they don't feel they have to be responsible enough to do that.
So you would say that thinking before you speak is like slowing down and actually thinking before you say something.
I mean, it's always helpful. That's why when you go through what they call it, like white friendly, or you're able to have corporate level conversations. That means you can be introduced to a brunch or whatever and not slip and say the wrong thing. Knowing how to read other people is also very great.
Reading the room.
Elevator room. Know what room you in. Am I in the trap? Am I at a presidential gala? Is this a black tie affair? Is this an opera? Am I in the studio? Am I in my backyard?
Even down to, like, people don't think, hey, okay, say you're in a room with someone and they just lost their mom or dad, right? And you talking about, you not thinking, you just talking about mamas, just running your mouth and, and now you've offended someone. You get what I'm saying? Like, not knowing who you're dealing with. Just basically, like you said, not thinking before you speak. It don't even have to be those corporate situations. It could just be with your friends and being insensitive.
Yeah. What's the name of that? What's the name of that thing? The emotional to be sympathetic and empathetic. A lot of people don't know how to show empathy.
Right.
They think sympathy and empathy are interchangeable, and they're not. Being able to show compassion, it's not. It's definitely a woman's trait, but men should have it. You should be able to walk through with dignity, and you should know how to conduct yourself, male or female, in an elevated space, at all times. Like I said, you gotta know your environment. And going back to the not throwing shade thing or whatever, like a lot of people don't really know how to conversate. Like having a real conversation and a healthy dialogue and a beautiful exchange of words will leave both parties walking away gaining something. One thing I love about debates, hold on one second. Like one thing I love about debates, when they sit down and do debates, they decide that, okay, here's a clear line in the sand. You have a certain amount of time that's allotted for you to speak. And this is the topic, this is the thesis of this debate, or this is the topic we're discussing today. To prove the Bible was written such and such, and you know what I'm saying? And then everybody go back and forth with their evidence that they bring forth. That's a healthy debate. And then at the end, there's clearly a winner, and there's clearly, a loser, or in some debates, there's not a winner or a loser. It's just, they just presented information and facts, and it's up to you to decide who actually won the debate. In some cases, like, college debates and stuff like that, they do present a winner based off the evidence. You prove the most evidence. But see, I digress. But the reason why I say all of that is to know how to have a conversation is very difficult. I got a friend of mine who was telling me, hey bro, the way I learned how to conversate was always in a street manner. So he's never been trained on how to take a conversation and not yell at you. He's never been trained to say, okay, cool, let me try to use my words definitively, but not offensively. And that's how you have to really stay inside a space with people like that. If not, it's just an exchange of emotions. It's an exchange of emotions. Everybody's yelling. Nobody's really coming to a point. Like when you listen to two people in lower level thinking, talking to each other, they're talking at each other. They're making a bunch of statements, and they're not really coming to a conclusion. It's not really breath in between the statements. It's just a whole bunch of statements back to back to back to back, and they call that a conversation, but it's really not. It's just people yelling and talking at each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, there's better ways to handle that. You know, it's better ways to handle it. There's better ways to go and navigate through this world, like, than to do it that way. But that's the only way, you know, I understand. I can talk to you on that level. But do I want to? How is that going to benefit me when I'm taking my if I'm going into the elevator room? Like, this is my Sacra Sanctorum, like a very sacred space. You know, you got to have peace inside your mind and have peace inside your life. But if everything about you is going to be chaotic, if you don't master these skills, if you don't master just how to conversate. We're not even talking about sex. We're not talking about emotions. We're just talking about conversation. So, I mean, you know, a lot of those people, if you avoid them, you'll have a beautiful life. Word. And like I said, they don't even mean to throw shade. A lot of them don't know that they doing it. Like in corporate America, I mean, you have like I'm gonna give you an example on my job. You have like a morning meeting. In the morning meeting, you got people that fear for their jobs. They fear that their job is on the line, and so they're gonna say certain things to the powers that be, exposing certain things they may have noticed. Haphazardly, somebody's over that department, and you just rolled them right up under a bus. Did you mean to do it? I don't even think you was conscious of it. What you could take out of it is the person needs to be trained on how to follow the chain of command. And the chain of command isn't, hey, let me bring up this random thing that's over your department without coming to you first. I could have came to you and said, hey, I noticed there was trash on the floor, your laundry, or it's always gowns on the floor, you know, you're over housekeeping, you know, could you make sure you get that before I blurt it out to your boss? Like I said, like, if you never been trained to come to that person and then you come back to them and then they didn't do anything, then you bring it up inside the morning meeting. Then you got to go up the power. That's why. And see, when you talk to people from a corporate level, they're going to look at you like, did you talk to the supervisor of housekeeping about this? They're going to ask you that. Did you run it past the people that need it? You don't come directly to me. That it is not no disrespect. I know you're just trying to look out for the cookout, but you don't come directly to me. You follow the chain of command. That's why. You don't go to the president of the company and deserve a sit down just because you think whatever. You go up the powers, and that's how that goes. But you know, like I said, like a lot of people don't really know that they're doing it because they uneducated on how to actually move in a corporate manner, how to move, and they moving in error. And that's why I think, in my opinion, a lot of shade comes from that. Like people trying to hurt you, they not really knowing they hurt you. They hurt you haphazardly. They're not meaning to do it though. You know what I'm saying? Know what you about to say?
Nothing.
I don't know, like it's just a lot of topics out here, you know what I'm saying, we could really cover. Another one being that knowing how to look at the news. I know I mentioned news earlier, but knowing how to actually watch the news and know that it's powers that be that are manipulating the different headlines, knowing what's clickbait, you know? Knowing what's clickbait. A lot of people don't know they're clicking on an ad. A lot of people don't know like what to look for, the jargon. And then also understand that you're creating your own algorithm. When you're looking at news and you're scanning through news, whether it's on Facebook or that's a bad source of news, but whether it's on Facebook or whatever, hell, CNN is a bad source. But whether it's on Facebook or whether it's in other platforms or whatever, you don't really realize that someone sat there and decided, you know, they want to target a certain demographic for this particular piece. Journalism, a lot of journalism is conducted in this way now. It's not actually to disseminate information, it's to create a further wide between the left and the right inside of America.
For example, Fox News and CNN.
Yes, ma'am. If Fox News even say it, the sad part about it is they'll say we. They'll say we. I'm like, if it's unbiased news, how can you collect yourself with a specific group?
Yeah.
And of course, the right wing, they'll say we sometimes too. If they feel like it's us against them. And one thing Joe Rogan said that was very powerful to me is the fact that he said that both sides are extremists. Yeah. At this point, both sides are sitting around trying to decide, okay, who, they weren't so fucking, they wild out and crazy, I would try to pick a side. I can't really pick a side. I agree with some views over here. I agree with some views. I don't agree with all views.
Right.
I don't see all views as okay, cool. That's a side I want to pick. Both of them looking bugged out to me. That's why I stay away from that type of talk. I focus more on the money and Yahoo Finance and the stocks and what crypto is doing and blockchain and tech. I focus more on that because I think that's more relevant to my lifestyle.
You understand that the creation of media and the purpose of media is distraction nonetheless.
Yeah.
Like, they cover news, however, most of the time when they do cover certain big issues, it's because something very significant is going on that they don't want you to focus on. They want you to focus on this or focus on that.
Of course, it's a distraction.
Yeah, goals and tactics.
Yeah. But also a lot of people don't know they're at war. You know, it's a war going on outside. No man is safe. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, a lot of people don't know they're at war. You know, people playing. It's a war going on spiritually. It's a war going on mentally. It's a war going on everywhere. Huh?
31 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. I can go. Like I like.
You said 30 minutes. That's all I was just telling you.
I got you.
Said 30 minutes.
I got you. Yeah, the vibe, getting the vibe now. Sometimes I got the riff for a while just to even get the vibe.
It's all over the place. It's all over the place.
What do you mean?
It's not you going like you're a lot like me. When I could be talking about one thing and then I'll think about something because I said one thing and I'll go to another subject, not completing the subject that I was talking about in the beginning.
Well, if you pay attention, I actually did.
Okay, I'm paying attention to you. I'm not being critical. I'm telling you like it is.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I covered it enough where I wanted to cover it. I feel like all right, cool. I just discuss something else now. And plus, like, that's how I really, like, when I talk for fun or I talk to myself, this is how I talk. I'm like, all right, cool. I got enough. I said what I wanted to say on that, and that's that. And that's what's crazy. Right now, I'm looking in the sky, and it's a so-called a chemtrail. But, I mean, I don't really believe in chemtrails, but how could they exist at night without sun? Well, the sun is always out.
Planes fly at night.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, like, I always look at things from a bird's eye view. You know, I always felt like I had that bird's eye view ability. And it's hard for a lot of people to have that ability to be able to look and pull themselves out of a situation and look back down into what it is life is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes interesting artists. That's what makes major. See, entertainment is also distractions to keep you bogged down on earth. Not to be. You know how many people don't look up? You know how many people just think about how many people don't look the fuck up? They don't look up. There's nothing to look up to. There's nothing to look up for. Everything they need is right here. Everything they need is right at eyesight. They don't look up. One thing I realized about law enforcement, they always looking around.
Most people these days only looking down because they in their bow downs all day, every day.
Well, check this out.
Walking down the street, driving, they're always.
Yeah. Well, check this out. Man, I was reading an article. It was saying man,
excuse me,
man conscious, their brain is not meant to be looking down all the time. It's meant to either be at eye level or up. And they were saying it's about the way we are evolving. We're evolving to use less frontal lobe activity, and less creativity, because we're letting the media and the iPads and the iPhones, the electronics, actually create our reality for us instead of us creating a reality for ourselves. So we become less creative. It's less painters, less writers, less poets.
Yeah, because now they have tablets that you draw on, or paint on. It's like
correct. Like in a lot of high scale restaurants now, you know what I'm saying? They don't let you go inside of these high-scale restaurants without using your iPhone. They make you surrender your iPhone or your Android at the door, so you can have more of a family get-together, a family sit-down, something that's more important, you know. But yeah, like I said, like it's been a wonderful build. Next time I have it a little bit more structured. But like I said, this is one of many. You know, just trying to get it together, just establish something. You know, like one of my homeboys told me the other day, like, man, just do it. Just do something. You know, a lot of times we talk till we blue in the face. Let's do something. Let's get down to doing. And that's what I want to do. And that's why I did it today. And it's hard to do a lot of things, especially when you're working. When you're working takes a lot of your time. It takes a lot of your creativity. But it's fine. You know, you find ways to work around it if you truly want that thing. So I decided today, okay, today is going to be the day I'm going to start something. I'm going to start it. I'll at least get started. We're going to try to see where it goes from there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got other guests. I got a lot of people that want to come on the show and feature, and you know, we could get together and have those conversations. I want to plug some people in.
A lot of people want to come in the room.
Yeah, but you got to know how to walk into that room. Yeah, you got to know how to walk into that room. Yeah, like, you know, the same with
I was just trying to give you a handle.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, like a lot of people. Like for example, you gonna have to knock on that door, and if you knock on the door the right way, you can enter the room. And that's on some ritual stuff. That's on some occult science.
They want to come in the elevation room.
Yeah, you know, you got to know how to knock on that door, else you're just gonna be standing there. Also, speaking of that, just like you can't just ask to speak in certain forms. You know, when you're talking to the city council, you can't just, I got a question. You can't do that. You got to hail. You got to know who to look at and what to say and how to move in gestures. You have to. Else you just get ignored. And the person that had the next question sit next to you, and they know how to acknowledge someone, and they know how to hail and look at someone, then they'll get acknowledged. Go ahead, what you're saying? Boom. That'll happen. And you'll say, why does this person keep skipping me? Because you ain't doing it. You're not doing it right. See, when you enter into certain rooms, it's a whole colloquialism that changes. It's a whole different tone. It's a whole different vibration. You know, do you get into these places of elevation? They talking in symbols and tokens. They talking into the highest level of science, which is body language. People waste a lot of time with words and they don't mean them. So, you know, that's peace.